International calls to reopen Sana'a airport after 1 year of being forced to close. The criminal coalition continues starving Yemen by unjust blockade. Yemen youth call for sustainable peace in the country. Good evening and welcome to Yemen Today's News. I'm Ali Nasser Khamri. The Saudi warplanes continued its vicious raids on Hajjah Governorate, northwest of Yemen. A local source confirmed that the enemy's jets have targeted Mastaba district with 2 raids that caused severe damages to private and public properties. It's noteworthy that both bordering districts of Harab and Midi in the Governorate of Hajjah were also under heavy attacks by Saudi jets during the past days. Sa'da Governorate was also under Saudi-led coalition fire. According to local sources, the Saudi warplanes have waged 4 air raids on different areas of Al-Dhahir district hours after targeting the same district with other 5 during the past hours. The enemy's jets have also targeted the district of Shada in parallel with artillery shelling the district by the Saudi army, causing damages to private and public properties. The Saudi jet fighters have continued targeting the governorate of Marib. A local source confirmed that the enemy's jets have launched a heavy air raids on Sarwah district. It's worth not mentioning that Sarwah is under attack by Saudi warplanes on a daily basis. The Saudi coalition continued its attacks against the governorate of Taiz. Local sources there have reported that the Saudi jets have waged heavy raid targeting north of Yakhtal area of Muka district. Meanwhile, the Saudi warplanes resumed its heavy attacks against Hudaydah governorate. According to local sources, the Saudi jet fighters have launched a heavy airstrike on Al-Khokha district. A number of organizations have called for reopening Sana'a International Airport that has been closed for a year now, preventing thousands of patients from traveling abroad to receive proper treatment that could save their lives.
A number of aid organizations called for reopening Sana'a Airport, saying that it had been closed for a year and prevented thousands of patients from traveling abroad for life-saving treatment. A statement signed by organizations including the International Rescue Committee and the Norwegian Refugee Council said that the official closure of Sana'a Airport for a year now affected millions of Yemenis and prevented the free movement of commercial and humanitarian goods. The closure of Sana'a Airport has killed more civilians in Yemen than the air raids by the Saudi-led coalition because many died as they couldn't travel for treatment abroad. The World Health Organization said that there are more than 400,000 suspected cholera cases in Yemen over the past 3 months, and the epidemic had killed 1,900 people. However, the closure of the airport makes the situation even worse. Closing Sana'a Airport enlarged the current spread of cholera and the approaching famine in many parts of Yemen, said rescue organizations in a statement. While the Yemeni Ministry of Health stressed that 10,000 Yemenis died from critical medical conditions, that the ministry was seeking international medical assistance too. The United Nations said also that 7,000 Yemenis were leaving the country through Sana'a annually for treatment before the war, adding that the number of people needing life-saving health care now amounted to about 20,000 Yemenis who are waiting for treatment abroad from critical cases, some of whom have to find alternative routes to leave the country, including moving by car for 10 to 20 hours to other airports, crossing areas where there is intensive fighting.
While the world turns a blind eye on Saudi war crimes in Yemen, the criminal coalition continues starving the country by a blockade that is responsible for depriving its citizens for basic necessities. More in the following report.
The Saudi-led coalition and just war in Yemen has become a grotesque humanitarian disaster, with the war turned a blind eye with the support of the United States and United Kingdom governments. Saudi Arabia has been deliberately starving the country of Yemen by the unjust blockade that prevents urgent aid, fuel and foods and medicines from entering the country that are unusually dependent on imports. A blockade that is mostly responsible for depriving the population of basic necessities. Nearly 14 million people, that is half of Yemen's populations, are suffering food crisis and emergency. The next classification after emergency is famine. The UN efforts at relieving the hungers here reach just 3,500,000 Yemenis people, according to UN reports, and even this project is desperately underfunded. Beyond the starvation condition, Saudi airstrikes have knocked over humanitarian relief resources and keep killing innocents as a hobby. And with the UN food program will shortly be out of money, the situation will soon be even worse than it already is. The World Food Program would need about $200 million to keep its food distributions at current levels in the coming months. Losing that aid will obviously make the humanitarian catastrophe even worse. This is the Saudi brutality and arrogance that killed the many people through the direct shells on their houses or through starving them by the unjust blockade under the silence of international community and collusion of the United Nations, which allowed the Saudi-led coalition to keep on in its crime on the oppressed 30 million people.
For establishing a national consensus that passes the current challenges, Yemeni activists representing different ideologies of civil society have issued the Yemeni Youth Statement for Sustainable Peace. More about that to be followed in this report.
The voices calling for peace rise. The Yemeni people can no longer bear more suffering and deterioration of humanitarian conditions. Yemeni youth bring together a common goal to provide a national vision to achieve peace in the country. Aware of the magnitude of the dangers and catastrophic damages caused by the continuation of Saudi aggression and conflicts in the country that affect all aspects of life in Yemen. We hope that all local parties approve our statement and take it into consideration, and the international community respond to our demands.
المجتمع الدولي أن يسمعوا لتطلبات الشباب. صوت الشباب يجب أن يسمعه.
Youth statement should be approved by all national parties and forces. Tomorrow will never be good unless the wise politicians stop fighting and return to negotiation table and develop the country.
أن الغد لن يكون غد طيب للشباب إذا لم نحن الكبار نساعدهم.
The Yemeni Youth Statement for Sustainable Peace calls for not making Yemen a battleground by the external, regional, and international forces and taking into consideration the people of Yemen decide their future. We, Yemen's youth, call on the international community, United Nations, and whoever has the decision to see the situation in Yemen. People are being killed, families disperse, and millions of children are the victims of war, conflict, aggression, or whatever. The statement called for the rationalization of the media discourse and the cessation of incitement by all parties in order to safeguard the country's interest, unity, and sovereignty, and to spread the culture of love and coexistence among the community. We call on mass media, all news agencies, and directors and editors-in-chief to develop media discourses, encourage the culture of love and forgiveness, and avoid the language of hatred, violence, extremism, and racism. The group of peace activists appealed to the international community and peoples to interact with the Yemeni crisis with greater attention and to put pressure to stop the war and siege in order to achieve peace and stability in the country.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, back to today's headlines. International calls to reopen Sana'a airport after 1 year of being forced to close. The criminal coalition continues starving Yemen by unjust blockade. Yemen youth call for sustainable peace in the country. Thanks for watching and goodbye.